All right, so once again, I'm live coming in on this Saturday night, the end of June, and it's the moving month of July, which means I'll be turning 37 on July 16th. Wow, crazy. Um, I will say this, that this is very interesting that our age is coming along, and you start to see things. A little hot lately too. There's a lot of things going on politically that people are just not getting. I don't think people want to get it, or maybe they don't care, right? But whatever the case may be, people can always make their own decisions. So it's been a lot going on. Shit. Chak, what's up, man?
You know it. Chillaxing, babe. What's good with it?
All right, gotta talk about four things really. The clown show. Uh, debate. We gotta talk about this barbershop getting bullied. Some health stuff. We gotta talk about some Black Music Month stuff because they done put out an article that queer representation is finally being represented in hip hop. I said, well, damn, why they put this out there? Yeah, so you know, don't know how they queer representation, but and the people were the Brett and Lil Nas X and people like that they had on the picture. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, let
But
them
I'm gonna let them
let
eat
them wear their
cake.
badge of honor, man. Let them wear their badge of honor, man. They feel like they gotta let everybody know. Gotta let everybody know that they got shiny shoes on. We can't see the damn shiny shoes on your feet and the red, but the rainbow
You
butt
right.
belt. Damn, man. I mean, what's good? These are grown people, man. What's good? Damn.
No, they're not. They're children.
You're gonna get annoying now, man. Who cares? Nobody really care. You just,
Mm,
you know, not a big deal. It's just like little children. Think about little children is
mm.
they get a little scratch on their leg or they get a little gift for their birthday. They want you to see it. See, this is what I got. I got a topsy turvy. Dang. Okay.
You know something I saw today that was very interesting. Of course, you know what a crow is, right? You know a crow the bird.
You talking about like a bird? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a strong bird, man. Look, if a bird, that crow got his beak on something, and you walk around him, he gonna fly away. But if you don't bother him enough, he gonna pick whatever he got in that daggone beak and fly off with that thing. That thing flew off with that damn thing, man. That bird will get on that ground and get whatever prey he want or whatever he looking for. So I said, these
It's
crows
kind of
they got a strong beak, man.
funny you mentioned a crow, man. That's strange because I had just seen a video like a little short clip on YouTube where a crow was trying to get into a hawk's nest and pull the hawk birds, the little babies out the damn nest. The hawk came, and that's the mama hawk came. That was a bad mistake.
Mess that crow up.
Let me just say that was a bad mistake to make because But when we came through in the net to help him up, but he was still hovering around like, like that motherfucker spotted him. I'm literally hawking, spotted him. Yeah. I was like,
Mm.
dang. Man, the Hawks is bad. Boy, that mother was bad.
Well, let me play this for you. I want you to hear this. This is the reaction to
Step into Wix Studio,
clown
the
shit
platform for agencies and
that
enterprises,
happened down
and
there in
turn
Atlanta.
website layouts into an
some within your own party are wondering if President Biden should even step aside. What do you say to that?
Listen, first of all, what we saw tonight is the president making a very clear contrast with Donald Trump on all of the issues that matter to the American people. Yes, there was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people, on substance, on policy, on performance. Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong. And
I'm sorry,
that
on
cannot
substance
be
and
debated.
policy and performance tonight. I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats, especially worried that Biden did not punch back on Trump's lies.
Listen, people can debate on style points, but ultimately this election and who is the president of the United States has to be about substance. And the contrast is clear. Look at what happened during the course of the debate. Donald Trump lied over and over and over again, as he is wont to do. He would not disavow what happened on January 6th. He would not give a clear answer on whether he would stand by the election results this November. He went back and forth about where he stands on one of the most critical issues of freedom in America, which is the right of a woman to make decisions about their own body. He has been completely ambiguous and all over the place about where he stands on that issue, despite the fact that he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and that's exactly what they did. And just 3 years ago, we commemorated of Dobbs, wherein women across our country have been denied emergency health care.
All that may be true. All that may be true, but the president of the United States was not able to make that case to Donald Trump on the stage tonight. I mean, you debated against then Vice President Biden 4 years ago, and he was a very different person on the stage 4 years ago when you debated him. You must, I mean, that's certainly true, is it not?
Anderson, the point has to be performance in terms of what a president does. A president who incites an insurrection against the Capitol. No, but I got the point that you're making about a 1.5 hour debate tonight. I'm talking about 3.5 years of performance in work that has been historic.
But
whether
is that
it be
the man who we saw on the stage tonight? Is that the person you see in meetings every day?
The person that you saw on the debate stage that has, for the last 3.5 years, up until today, performed in a way that has been about, whether it be in the Oval Office, negotiating bipartisan deals, so that we have an infrastructure, a real infrastructure plan where we're putting trillions of dollars on the streets of America to upgrade our infrastructure. Whether it be the person I see in the Oval Office,
so you should ask for, give me one infrastructure plan that y'all completed for the American people, not for people around the world. That's what you should ask for. Don't just let her just say words and you know what I'm saying? Gumbo on her mouth. No, okay, you got to give us an example. I'm glad he put the pressure on her to actually speak and actually to give us some, put pressure on her to give us some, because this is question time, baby. We're going into the next presidential election, next term, so it's question time.
She just rambling and rambling and rambling. She just saying, look, I want you to relate.
She ain't said nothing no new. She been saying the same thing. Oh, abortion. They only 3 parts talking about abortion, infrastructure, and January 6th. That's the only thing they focus on. What about the people, man? What about the people that lost their jobs? What about the
Well,
mama pops?
wait a minute.
What about, you know what I'm
Wait a
saying?
minute.
What about the
The
housing
January
market? What about
6th
the
thing,
inflation?
that
Huh?
January 6th thing, they just took a big L on that yesterday because the Supreme Court ruled that the people in January 6th could not be charged with obstruction of justice. So they lost big on that. So they people might be only getting misdemeanor, bro. They might not be getting no felony charge for that shit that happened on January 6th. That's a big L for them. Just letting you know.
I mean, they blew it out. They blew that out of proportion as they always do. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if the people violated, it was a violation committed. You know what I'm saying? You try to make it seem, oh, they're trying to take over the United States of America with all the military forces, and they still don't answer the question of Nancy Pelosi, which was in charge of that situation, that event, that special event, why they didn't have extra security out there to protect. And you know what I'm saying? They still never answer that question because we are supposed to have that type of protection in those type of events for those type of situations. You prepare.
They're not gonna answer the question.
You
They're
get
not
your
gonna
you,
answer the
you get
question.
your security detail down. They're not going to answer it, man. Like, cause even if people was able, regular old people was able to get there to come into attack the Capitol, man, you can't walk into no dang on Capitol, dog, unless it's been allowed to be in that space, a certain designated area, and it's going to be definitely highly secured. We didn't just see some of the people just get allegedly get gunned down for getting too close in the areas, after January 6th. So
Well,
how
here
you
we go.
protected? That's the question. That's another question. Hold on for the people that ponder in their head. How you got more protection? How you got more protection of the Capitol any other day than this special day? That's a question we need to ponder on. The
That
certifying of
means
the
somebody. That
vote.
means they let it happen.
There you go. There you
On
go.
November 4th, on Twitter, on Barack Obama's Twitter page, he said that they would come dressed up as BLM. Well, not BLM. They said they would come dressed up as Trump supporters and stage this. That had already been in the works 2 months before this shit even happened. Right, the day after the election,
Well, also,
and they took that shit down. But I had seen that shit. So, and it was Antifa and BLM that staged that protest. That was them. They infiltrated this shit, man. They dressed up as Trump supporters, and that's how they were able to do what they did.
another thing, they also put the narrative out there in the people's mind that Trump was not going to succeed if he didn't get the right result. Like, why would they put that out there? So that's premeditated, there, bro. Like, they already had the stuff set up for him to be the fall guy for the particularly
I got a question.
demonstration, because that's all these beat demonstrations. Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
January 6th is the day they're supposed to certify the votes, right?
They're supposed to certify the votes, yeah.
You realize Donald Trump was still in office for 14 more days after that, right? So that couldn't have been nothing what it was about, bro. That's kind of stupid. Because if that's the case, he would have left on January 20th. Come on, let's go.
Well, and then they tried to blame it on him for telling them like, dude, you know how that's defamation. You got to prove that, bro, and that's hard to prove because I wasn't there. Even if I said, hey, go down there and defend your constitutional rights, you know what I'm saying, to make sure people was invited down there. They was in a designated area. They had the damn place open the day before for open what's the name, touring. So this is demonstration set up.
As a matter of fact, if you wanted to go to the Capitol right there where you at in Dallas or wherever Irving or wherever you at, you can go. Guess what? The Capitol is supposed to be the people's house anyway. So what the hell is this? Never mind.
So the Capitol's supposed to be the people's house, and yeah, the people have a right to go down and protest and make sure everything is good. But they're gonna make you seem like you're criminal.
Yep, I remember the FBI agent there, Roy Epps. Let me let this blithering fool talk.
The Situation Room. ensuring the safety of America. The person I see in Joe Biden on the world stage, convening world leaders who often ask for his advice, most recently just during the G7 conference. So I'm not going to spend all night with you talking about the last 90 minutes when I've been watching the last 3.5 years of performance.
But this was a debate that your campaign wanted. You pushed for this debate at this moment. Obviously, I mean, you can't honestly say, I mean, can you say that you are not concerned at all having watched the president's performance tonight?
It was a slow start. That's obvious to everyone. I'm not going to debate that point. I'm talking about the choice in November. I'm talking about one of the most important elections in our collective lifetime. And do we want to look at what November will bring and go on a course for America that is about a destruction of democracy, electing a man who has said he'll be a dictator on day one? Or do we want to continue on a course that's about strengthening America's economy, building and creating 15 million American jobs, over 800,000 manufacturing
Stop there right
jobs?
quick.
I got that this is the
Stop there
afterplay for
right
the
quick,
debate.
Bernard. She said a man said he was going to be the dictator on day one. Did he say that?
He did, but it was a joke, man. God damn it.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. See, they play too many games with the people, and people gotta. That's what you see how I draw into certain things and pay attention to what they be saying. See, you got to pay attention because they try to use little smaller stuff like that.
This is what happened. This is what happened.
Yeah.
They asked him, what would he do if he became president? He said, I'd be a dictator when I close the border. I'd do this, I'd do that. I'd get rid of the bureaucracy and stuff like that. And that's what they talking about. And that's when now Biden said that nobody's ever talked like you before on the stage the other night. He said, you said you would go after your political opponents. Nobody's ever talked like you. You never heard that before in American history. Somebody talking about they going after their political opponents. I'm like, well, ain't this the part called
They a lie. He a lie. Where they ain't lying? His whole presidential term, he was talking about and being trying to intimidate and be what's the word, a proper word I'm looking for? Yo.
Well, Biden,
oh my God.
Well, Biden tried to
he was being
he told us that he was impatient with us for not taking the jab, so he was acting like a dictator.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't talk to the people. They was talking at the people, talking at us, man. Like, y'all gonna do this forceful. We're gonna do this to you, and you better get it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna like, whoa. You are the president. You are the head of the executive branch, bro. Do your damn job.
What did Biden say?
That's it. Do your job.
What did Biden say when that New York verdict came down? If you think that this process was rigged, you are a danger to the country. That's what he said.
He said what?
5 states, Doc Boss. Actually 5. It's 5, I think.
Yeah. Also, like I said, he was trying to intimidate voters, intimidate people for not wanting to take certain, therapeutics that wasn't even certified or completely regulated. Is that not a dictatorship or not? Ultimatums, mandates. What you call that?
That's intimidation. Coercion.
Also, another thing was going on during Biden's term, since we just having this conversation. Matter of fact, around this year last time, when he 4 years ago, the presidential election. I'm saying, the general election and all that. And no chats, nobody super chats or live stream. You couldn't type Joe Biden's name in their chat, dude.
Yep.
They would not let you anything you put his name in it or you put COVID or they was blocking that stuff, man. Like you couldn't even put it in there. Now how the news could talk about it, but the regular people can talk about their platform.
And they got rid of dislike numbers. You could dislike, but then you couldn't see the numbers. That was another thing they did. So, let this blithering idiot keep talking.
this conversation that I'm in. And I understand why everyone wants to talk about it, but I think it's also important to recognize that the choice in November between these two people that were on the debate stage involves extraordinary stakes. And there's one person on that stage who has the endorsement of their vice president, and that's Joe Biden. Mike Pence is nowhere to be found in supporting Donald Trump, and that's why he has to look for someone else to run with him, who, as we know, will embolden and rubber stamp whatever he wants, because they're going to have to make a choice to not be Mike Pence and to put Donald Trump over their country.
Neither person on that stage tonight made the argument as coherently as you just did. You mentioned reproductive rights. I'd like to just play that exchange that we saw tonight.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the
He said constitutional scholarship.
For taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? In fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign
it. To someone who watched this debate tonight and has serious concerns about the President of the United States, what do you say to them about what they just saw?
They saw they witnessed the fact that if Donald Trump were elected to be president of the United States this November, he will sign a national abortion ban. Take him at his word. He said he would when he was president before. He said if it came to his desk, he'd sign it. There's no reason to believe anything would change. A national abortion ban means that folks in New York, California, Maryland, all these other states that have protected the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do will be at risk. That's what you should take away from that discussion.
And just
first of all, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I know we have to go.
Stop it.
So first of all, she told a lie.
Hold on.
I watched the debate. Wait a minute. She told a damn lie. Number one, I watched the debate. Donald Trump said states are figuring out states can do what they want to do. That's what he said during the debate. I heard the debate.
That's what I was just about. I'm glad you're a smart guy. I'm glad you said that. See, this is how they play games with people. Give people. This is how they fearmonger people and intimidate you with the words and stuff, and aggressive words. The president don't have no bearing on what the states do. The states can make their own decisions and choices on those situations, bro. They got their own constitution, man. So whether the president, he can write a bill all he wants to. The states don't have to honor that bill if it goes against their constitutional policies and their, you know what I mean, their state policies. That's how they be trying to get people. Oh, the president really has limited power when it comes to the state, bro.
Well,
I don't know why they try to make it seem like the president has all this big. He's a delegate. He delegates for the United States on international situations.
Well, he's saying something. I saw it, so I'm like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Hey, I'm Christy. I run a system setup company, and I'm also a digital nomad. One of my favorite tools.
All right,
well, our next guest is asking.
Let me play a little bit of this. Go to redacted. I want you to hear this. They are talking about staging a fake alien invasion.
A very important question that no one else seems to be asking, which is why is the United States Congress passing bills to reinstate the military draft in the United States, now making women register for selective service? What possible war scenario would require millions of conscripts in the United States Army being trained to fight on U.S. soil specifically? And the reason we talk about U.S. soil specifically is because modern war uses all sorts of modern aircraft and drones. Why would we need hundreds of thousands of infantry in a modern war? It doesn't really make sense. Our next guest is asking that question. UFO researcher Dr. Michael Salla has some very deep sources inside the U.S. military, inside the U.S. government, sources that are part of the secret space program. He's written extensively about it. And we invited Dr. Michael Salla to come back on the show. Michael, great to see you. Welcome back.
Thanks, Clayton. Glad to be back.
So I found your tweet and your subsequent conversation about this to be very interesting. And I think the timing of all of this is very interesting. So anybody who's watching right now who has sort of a skeptic's eye about this, I want you to be aware of false flags. Over the past week and a half, there have been a number of mainstream media publications, and they're all basically saying or asking the same question. And it's very weird the timing that all of them are publishing almost simultaneously, asking the questions about, are aliens currently living amongst us? Is a massive alien invasion about to happen? Are they living and working among us? Are they going to It's really weird. I mean, all sorts of mainstream media publications asking the same question. Is this all sort of part of this military conscript movement inside the United States government?
Definitely, yes. I think that there has been a concerted shaping operation, if you like, in terms of an information warfare where the general public has been prepared and conditioned UFOs and invading aliens. And I think that is very deliberate, that you can go back several decades to the 1990s when the first researchers began to report about the planning for a false flag alien invasion, that was something that was in the planning books for some future time. And I think now we are at that point where such a false flag alien event would be where you would need so many or hundreds of thousands or even millions of conscripted Americans fighting against some foe that has been wholly contrived by the deep state to direct American attention in the direction that they want it to go.
So focused on a fake alien invasion to get us all to rally around a common cause, get hundreds of thousands of conscripts. How would they pull this off? Seeds being planted in the mainstream media, definitely news articles. You know, you're hearing, it seems like you're hearing members of the government talking more about this as a likely scenario. So they're sort of planting the seeds of this. But would Americans, I mean, would we fall for it? I mean, and what sort of evidence will we have that this is actually happening? What are they going to try to present to us to make us believe that this is actually
support this? And I think this is why they've amended the selected service system to make the mandatory military service automatic, that anyone in that age group, it's at the moment the legislation or the bill that was just passed last Friday and included in the National Defense Authorization Act for 2025 is for males. And I think that the reason that they have passed that is that the plan is that when they move forward with this false flag event, because people's children in that age group 18 to 26 are recruited into, or actually forced to enlist, that they would go out there and fight. All of a sudden their sons are out there fighting against some foe, and who that foe is would be critical. And I don't believe it would be genuine. I have,
in order to just increase our our military size in order to fight Russia. Like they would use this as a bit of a head fake to bring in more conscripts so that we'd have a larger military. But what if everything you've heard about the Oklahoma City bombing has all been a lie? The narrative that the powers that be want you to believe on what unfolded on that fateful morning in Oklahoma City. Our next guest is an investigative journalist, Derek Brose. He has a new series of documentaries called The Pyramid of Power, which is examining all of those individuals who are working behind the scenes that actually control us. We talk about the deep state, but who are these people and how exactly are they controlling us? Today, I specifically wanted to talk about a big piece of his documentary, the Oklahoma City bombing, because I think this is a narrative, this is a story that many of you probably don't know. And so we decided to welcome Derek here on the show to have a deep dive discussion about this. Derek, welcome into Redacted. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you for having me back, Clayton.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome back here. And you've been doing some amazing work. Before we get into Oklahoma City specifically, can you tell our audience about the series of videos that you've been putting together, the series of documentary videos? You can visit the pyramidofpower.net, which is the website, to see all of the videos in sequence. I have to say, I watched your episode on false flags and was just blown away by it. So how did this idea come about?
Yeah, thank you for that, Clayton. So originally the idea for this was a 2.5 hour presentation I was giving as I was doing talks across the United States back in 2018. And after doing a few dozen of those, I realized that it probably wasn't the best format for such information, that I could maybe do it better in a documentary style presentation. And so that's what I started focusing on in 2021. We began the series. It's myself. I do the research, the writing of the scripts, the narration, and I work with some really talented editors who make it come to life. And the idea was that each episode, in terms of the documentary specifically, each episode would aim to be 30 minutes or less, so we could kind of make it for the Netflix generation, make it bingeable. And if you get sucked into one, maybe you watch the whole series, and by the end of it, your whole worldview is shifted. And so every episode's 30 minutes or less. At least that's what we aim for. A few have gone over, and packed with the best information that already exists. As you probably know, there's a lot of amazing documentaries and books out there that sometimes you don't have to recreate the wheel for certain topics. So I would use my own original research plus sourcing from pre-existing documentaries, pre-existing books, condensing it down to just the facts that people need to know to get them thinking about these topics. And then every episode also ends with suggested solutions for each different topic, and then recommended reading, recommended watching for those who want to go deeper into their journey. And so this latest one is chapter 14, the false flag deception. So we've been working on it now for 3 years, and there's going to be 17 episodes in total. The final episode, 17, will answer the question, who or what is at the top of the pyramid, where I will continue to interview different researchers and journalists. In this one, false flag deception, we feature some discussion with G. Edward Griffin, who's, of course, long-time researcher, been doing this since the 1950s. And I have a lot of other people, Whitney Webb and others, featured in previous episodes. And so that final episode, we're going to try to see what does everybody think is at the top, who is at the top, and of course, I will offer my own view. But the whole goal is this is just meant to be a way to wake people up in another fashion, because some folks will watch 3-hour conversations, some folks will watch a 5-hour documentary or read a 500-page book, but some won't. They'd rather it be packaged in a format that's a half hour or less, and that's really what I was aiming for with this.
Well, great work on this. And so today I really wanted to dive deep into Oklahoma City. Now, this is I remember where I was on that particular morning. I think a lot of Americans do. They have an awareness about whether maybe their teacher came into the classroom that day and told them what just unfolded. You learned about it. And we were all told a certain story about what happened on that fateful morning in Oklahoma City, the narrative that we were all told that the mainstream media ran with. And maybe you can paint a picture. Before we get into your work on this, what is the narrative that we were all told? Like, what is the sort of, maybe I could say, fabricated version of events that we've all swallowed and been told, and maybe even, makes up many Wikipedia pages?
Yeah, absolutely. So the official government version of events says that on April 19th, 1995, at about 9:02 a.m., Timothy McVeigh, who is former military veteran, white supremacist, white nationalist, him acting alone with maybe one or two conspirators that the mainstream will admit, killed 168 people, including children, at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. The story is that he parked a moving truck fertilizer bomb, and he parked it on the outside of the building and blew up the whole front face of the building, and as I said, killed over 150 people. He was caught shortly after and eventually put to death. That is sort of encapsulates the mainstream version of events. And just to kind of put this into context, because I was about 11 years old when this happened, so I don't remember it too well. I do remember headlines, but I remember 9/11 6 years later a lot more clearly. And to kind of put it in that context, this was one of the building up of promoting the idea that there is a rise in domestic extremism. There was much talk in the 90s about the militia movement. It's on the rise. And then, of course, 6 years later, you had the 9/11 attacks. And as I talk about in the documentary, current president and then Senator Joe Biden was part of passing this anti-terrorism, domestic terrorism bill right after the Oklahoma City bombing happened. And similar to after 9/11, we saw the Patriot Act. Joe Biden still claims credit for having written this bill and basically saying it was the basis for what would become the Patriot Act. So looking back.
Hi, Shaq. That's what I wanted to get to. So if you realize that Joe Biden also used this part of the Patriot Act, and they used that Timothy Veil situation for what? To pass anti-terrorism laws. Go figure. The apple never falls too far from the tree, does it, Shaq? You hear me? Shaq. Well,
Yeah, I'm here.
so that go to show you that all these false flags, anti-terrorism stuff, a lot of that stuff coming to Timothy Veil bombing and that fake alien invasion. I'm just letting you know, a lot of people think this shit is like, this is all planned, man. This was back in 1995. They used that for anti-terrorism, and then they used it, used a remedy for the Patriot Act. Joe Biden even showing you in his picture who was also behind that as well. Go figure. You see how we always get played? All right. So let me play this for you.
Mm-hmm. Sweetwater's Microphone Month is happening now through May 31st. Get low prices on the mics you love, like the new.
You've been talking a lot about no tax on tips. If you can kind of talk about that and what impact that would have, not just on the Black community, but on everyone. I think it's a winner for all of us, and it's your idea. So if you kind of talk about that, that'd be great, sir.
So about a month ago, I was at my building in Las Vegas having dinner with some big people, business people that were, planning some big developments and things. And the waitress came over and said, how you doing? How you doing? And she said, oh, the government is after me all the time for my tax on tips. I said, really? They do that? He said, yeah, Biden just made the regulations much tougher. And it's very tough nowadays, tax on tips. And I said, how would you like to be no tax on tips? Because first of all, it's very hard. It's a very hard thing to control from the government standpoint. But the people are very unhappy about what's happening, especially the new regulations. And anyway, I just came up with the concept of no tax on tips. Let the people earn what they earn. And I'll tell you, it has been so popular beyond anything. I've never seen anything like it. So we have no tax on tips. Vote for Trump, no tax on tips.
Hey, Mr. President, we have Ben Carson's here with us.
Hey, Mr. President, how you doing?
Hi, Ben. I'm good, Ben.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about a pretty fascinating story, a sad story to be quite honest with you, out of Atlanta, okay, involving a Black barbershop owner who hosted a Blacks for Trump kind of small business event where you had politicians like Byron Donalds and Ben Carson. I'm not sure if Ben Carson is actually a politician, okay, but you have Wesley Hunt. You had, Black conservatives, okay, come into the barbershop and to talk about small business. And the benefits of conservative economic policies for Black Americans, specifically, again, Black entrepreneurs, Black business owners, which, in my opinion, the main benefit is cutting taxes, which definitely helps, rolling back regulations, cutting red tape, which also helps as well, too. Okay. And these are things that Trump specialized in during his administration. And that's why the economy was so great. Okay. Because we actually had somebody in office that understood how to spur real economic growth, not the fake economic growth that we have right now from the Biden administration that is being fueled by government spending. Okay. Most of the jobs created under Biden are government jobs, hospitality jobs, and healthcare jobs. Okay. Is all being subsidized by the government for the most part. Trump didn't necessarily have that in his economy. His economy, again, it was natural growth as a result of less government involvement, less taxation, and things were flourishing. Okay. And a lot of people want to get back to that. But unfortunately, there's a certain group in this country of deranged individuals whose hate for Trump is so bad, right? It's so outrageous that they get mad at anybody that they see as potentially supporting Trump or helping out the Trump campaign if they are people that they believe should not support Trump for X, Y, and Z reason. The main reason always has to do with identity politics. Okay, if you're not a straight white Christian male, according to these people, then you can't support Trump, right? There's no reason why you support Trump. Even if you are a business owner and Trump's policies benefit your business, no, you can't do that, right? You can't look out for your own economic security, the well-being of your employees, your business, your life, your family. No, you can't do that. Okay, you have to vote against Trump because Trump evil, right? And essentially, that is what's happened in this situation involving this Black barber out in Atlanta who hosted a Trump event. And now he's coming out and basically saying that, well, I feel like I was misled in regards to what this event was supposed to be about. He's saying that he thought it wasn't going to be about politics, that it was going to be about Black businesses, just a forum for that. And it wasn't going to be political. But to me, it is obvious that that's probably not the case, that he definitely knew it would be political, but he's just coming out and saying this because he's admitting that, yeah, I'm losing business, right? People are not coming to my barbershop anymore, and I'm receiving a lot of, phone calls and messages of people that don't like the fact that my barbershop hosted this event. And again, it's an extremely sad story. It's a sad state of affairs when Black people essentially harass each other and tear down a Black business, right? Because he, hosted Trump. Okay. Same thing is happening with the Black church out in Detroit that hosted the event with Trump. That pastor has received a whole lot of hate. Okay. Because of him opening up the church doors to Trump to come and speak. Right. Again, it really is a damn shame. But without further ado, let's get into this.
Now, all new at 6, the owner of Rocky's Barbershop in Atlanta says he feels he was misled by a campaign event for former President Trump the day before the debate. Rocky Jones tells our Kara Spelger he thought his Buckhead shop was just hosting a forum for Black businesses, but he says he never expected to fade into the realm of politics.
To me, cutting hair is like an art.
And smooth waves are not the only thing Rocky Jones wants his shop to be known for.
We try to specialize in just giving good service to the community. As you see, I've been here since 17 years and it's been good.
Which is why he jumped at the chance to help other Black business owners get ahead.
Started with a text, then it went to a call because I was actually out the country. And just me agreeing to do a Black small business round table. I thought it was like something real private.
It was anything but. Rocky, along with Black business owners from across Metro Atlanta, crammed into his shop, along with Trump surrogates like Ben Carson. But it wasn't all shop talk.
Thinking about Black business in Atlanta, small Black businesses in Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, so when are we going to start talking about this?
He says a call from former President Trump during the event cut deep.
Why is the ex-president calling somebody in my barbershop? This has nothing to do with small Black businesses.
And
Wow. Okay. I'm trying to get this guy the benefit of the doubt. Okay. And the reason why is because I think he's been intimidated. I think he's been harassed. I think this is why he's saying this. Okay. This is him trying to save himself from the mob. So I'm not going to be too hard on the guy. But if you actually listen to what Trump talked about, he talked about rolling back regulations. He talked about taxes. He also talked about eliminating taxes on tips. Now, I like to tip my barber pretty good, right? If he does a good job, I'm going to tip them very good, right? Very well. Okay. I love to tip well because I think that when people do a good job, they deserve to get paid for it. Okay. And Trump is saying, well, I want to eliminate a tax on that. I think that that's probably one of the best ideas that the Trump campaign has come up with to help working class.
All right, let's go with that. I think the guy be intimidated too, Shaq, because he had to know this. So I think there's some bullshit. But I do agree with that not taxing, because I'm like, a waitress and them don't make that much money all the time. So how you tipping them, taxing them for tips? That's kind of weird, yo. I think that's kind of like crazy talk. What do you think? You hear me? Jack. Jack, can you hear me? Well, let me just break it down. I think it's just kind of crazy how that's going down. A lot of things just not making sense of how this thing working. So a lot of things going on wrong here.
And I said to myself, who the fuck is her fan base? This is why I hate when y'all listen to her music. Like, y'all keep saying, like, yeah, man, but the beat hit. I don't give a fuck how much the motherfucking beat hit. Let me tell you something. Every time I hear that bitch in my motherfucking car, I turn her shit off because I know she detrimental to the black community. I know she motherfucking influencing young girls to pop they pussy open for a baby. I know that's what that bitch doing. And in the same breath, she's influencing these young girls to be ratchet, nasty, and trifling. And then she's telling y'all that y'all got carpet hair. So not only is she's influencing y'all to do that, but she's also insulting y'all at the same. I don't like her at all. Like, she be single-handedly playing in y'all face. And I said to myself, who the fuck is her fan base? This is why I hate when y'all listen to her music.
Shaq, can you hear me? Well, anyway, this young lady, she talking about she don't like sexy red. She thinks she's being used to spread degeneracy to young women and things like that. And she said they're being embarrassed. That's what the young lady talking about here. So, very interesting, y'all. And she would come out there and say this, but yeah, what it is. So this is another piece of, since we talking about hip hop and stuff like that. They say the month of June is almost over, but hip hop is finally embracing queer representation. As you see, the Brett, Lil Nas X, I don't know the guy with the Philly hat on. Oh, that's Tyler, the Creator. Appeared on the HBCO scene. Carmichael, who's overly gay, spends the entire episode trying to ask Tyler, his friend, turned crush to him. There was an era hip hop where masculinity took over. With those earliest days where hip hop was on the same platform as disco music, as black, queer, gay, Latino folks, all in the same spaces. According to Trevor, Dr. Neil told Genius, 1979 to 2009 bit of fiction because it's now actually acknowledging what the clear influence was. Eminem came on the fire for anti-gay slurs. Sauce Santana, Isaiah Rashad. Female rappers have done a great job with being inclusive as well. Artists like Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Lil Kim, Megan Thee Stallion have massive gay fan bases. Baby Tate identifies pansexual. Young M.A., Azalea Banks, Baby identifies the Brett came out as a lesbian. Kim Petras, trans pop singer. Miami rapper Young M.A. is bisexual. Jay-Z has embraced the LGBT community. So that's about queer representation in hip hop. Might be funny when they put this out doing black music. That they playing with you again. With the way this hip hop thing is going.
Yeah, pretty much. Man, you know, hang around the roses, man.
But for all them people LGBTQ and tell us about it, that's even more like, what the hell are y'all doing, man? What y'all trying to solve here, man?
Yep.
That's not what hip-hop was about all the time. But
That's not what it all about.
I mean, hip hop was about breakdancing and stuff like that, man. We won't. I mean, you know, like I said, this is some other stuff they do.
Oh.
What's going on? Oh. So go to show you got a lot of stuff going on in this little hip hop thing, but it's the end of Black Music Month. So I'm just saying, why would they put that dumb shit out there? To me, this shit dumb. but they got an axe to grind right now. All right, check this out, Shaq. Big article right here.
Driving a debate in Washington. A debate is opening in Washington, D.C. over federal dietary guidelines for alcohol consumption. Current guidelines suggest up to 2 drinks per day for men and 1 for women. But upcoming updates may recommend lower limits, Vinny.
Uh-oh.
The alcohol industry, backed by lobbyists and lawmakers like Representative Andy Barr, is challenging the proposed changes, arguing for decisions rooted in real science. The HHS panel, which includes researchers like Tim Naimi, Jürgen Rehm, Kevin Shield, supports stricter guidelines, citing evidence that any amount of alcohol can be harmful. The research aligns with the World Health Organization stance that no amount of alcohol is safe. It's widely accepted that alcohol is a carcinogen, especially at higher consumption levels, said Christian Abnett of National Cancer.
I just, this morning before I walked in here, I was on a Connect and I was talking to this guy about just how besides God, besides going to church and following that path, taking out alcohol is probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. I am now, after a year and May 31st, Kelly's birthday was my 1 year mark. I am now just starting to get emotions back, like just smiling throughout the day, Pat, getting goosebumps, remembering everything, waking up in the morning. And I think, throughout the day, every single one of us at home, you guys, we all try to avoid poison, the food that we're eating. You're voluntarily putting this thing, and say what you want. People are like, well, I'm just having 1 drink, or it's literally poison. And when you see somebody, Tom, stumbling and falling, and we laugh like, oh, look at he's poisoned, but he doesn't have enough to kill him. I mean, it's destroyed many people in my family lives, and I'm happy that I think anything they want you to be drinking, they want to be going down that path. I personally just think it's a good thing to lessen anybody drinking, especially if it's poisoning you.
Well, remember in the 1950s, the U.S. government looked the other way and actually said it was okay when cigarette advertisements portrayed doctors saying, and full of vitamins. There were these advertisements. And so is it any shock that our lawmakers, which most of whom are pickled, and need dollars for campaigns and are getting dollars from spirits companies saying, listen, help me with my reelection and I'll go over and the federal dietary guidelines and I'll put 1 glass of red wine a day. No, not red wine. This I'm from Jim Beam. Okay, then one drink for you, 2 drink for your wife. Look, this thing is backed by lobbyists and lawmakers. So is it any surprise that they're trying to touch and find them the alcohol to put on a people that probably reviewed this committee, like professional drinker reasonable, there's a lot less than where I'm at. And so I think you've got is poison, and higher consumption levels, is not only dangerous, but it affects lifestyle and people's work and relationships. And oh my gosh, and then you got to have the U.S. government bailing you out because you lost your job and you're homeless now, but you can get a nice place in L.A.
Yeah, exactly.
Adam. Well, number one, respect to Vinny. You're 1 year sober, 1 year and one month. I want to say
1 year a month.
Congratulations to you. I just hit 9 weeks.
That's freaking amazing.
Of not having a drink, and for me, it was more just let's see if I can do the 75 hard thing, and see how long I could go. Especially Gen Z are vaping way too much. Yes, the cigarettes are no longer a thing, but the vape is basically usurped cigarettes, and it's a problem. But alcohol, I would dare to say, is probably the most devastating. there's been a push to legalize marijuana. We've seen that, microdosing and mushrooms are becoming more of a thing. People need an escape. People need to chill. People want to relax. People want to let loose. I get it. But alcohol, I mean, talk about just making dumb decisions. The worst thing is just people getting drunk, fights, brawl fights, by the way,
Yeah.
something to look into. There was, hey, whatever you want, open bar. Yeah, I'll just do a Diet Coke. I was at the bars in South Beach. You wanted to go check out the bar? No, not drinking whatsoever. It feels good. I would highly recommend giving it a shot. If you haven't gone a week without drinking, try it. If you haven't gone a month without drinking.
All right, Shaq. So they're saying that people drinking too much. Shaq, what do you think? Shaq, what do you think? People drinking too much? They need to slow it down a little bit. You hear me? I don't know. You hear me? Shaq. Yo, Shaq, you there? All right, they say everybody. Yeah, you're right. Everybody didn't talk. That's why they can't see what's going on. All right, now for a clown show part.
Want to get the most out of one sheet? Grab Bounty.
A beautiful Friday morning. I'm Christine Williamson here for Molly Karam. We got a squad here. Jay Will,
Ready?
Stephen A. Smith, of course.
What up, big boy? What up, baby? Hello, Christine.
Hello. I'm great. How are you? Perk will be joining us in just a little bit. You guys ready to get things started?
Perk always. Why he late?
He's just a little late.
He's always
Yesterday,
a
there
little
was a
late.
good
Why? I
reason.
got to talk to him. I got to talk to Perk about that. He's always late. I got to talk to him.
I don't know. Yeah,
I got to
maybe
get
we
on
should
the
ask him.
big
Ask him about that.
What's going on? He think
Maybe
he
the technical
but they're going to be
difficulty.
scared to say something. We ain't scared.
Let's get things started. You know exactly where we're starting things off. Yesterday, history was made when Bronny James's name was called in the second round of the 2024 draft. He was taken at number 55 overall, joining his dad on the Lakers roster. Lakers GM Rob Pelinka spoke about the very historic day. Take a listen.
In the history of the NBA, an NBA basketball court, and that feels like something that could be magical. And we know and have so LeBron has a decision in his family and him and his family. But if it worked out that he was on our team next season, NBA history could be made, and NBA history.
If it works out.
LeBron knew that he and his Bronny are now on photo of the two and a child in another one-word caption, legacy. Yesterday, Bob Myers had some very interesting things to say about Bronny's agent, Rich Paul. Take a listen.
Right now, Rich Paul is calling teams, don't take Bronny James. He's telling them, do not take him. Okay? Saying, don't take him, he's going to Australia. So he has a plan and he has a place. What's up?
You doing good?
Hey, happy Friday.
All right. I called you the other day. I can't get a call back. Can't get a call back.
Oh.
What's your reaction to what Bob Myers had to say?
I mean, first of all, let me say congratulations to Bronny and all the young men that got drafted over the past 2 days, right? Dreams come true. Urge of making history when LeBron James do sign his contract with the Los Angeles Lakers, and they figure that out, okay? I'm genuinely happy for them. I have with Rich Paul is that my thing is, over the last few weeks, he's been doing interviews and he's been saying things like, you know, it's not a big focus on LeBron and Bronny playing together.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen A., I'm going to go back to the line that I love that you use, okay? I love one of my favorite lines from you. If a duck, like a duck. Now, all signs have been leading up to Bronny being drafted by the Lakers so him and his dad can share the floor together and be on the same team. I mean, just think about it. He only worked out for 2 teams, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Phoenix. On top of that, after about that, Rich is saying don't draft Bronny. It was another sign to say, you know what, he's going to be in a Laker uniform. And it's okay. My thing is with Rich Paul is don't try to make people out there to try to make people to liars, right? When we
to be played in these certain situations, and as much as we want people to keep it real to go off. I mean, Aaron Riley did this the year before with Austin Reeves when they formatted a similar plan, right? It just, the world didn't know. People internally knew that, you know, they were telling teams, hey, do not draft Austin Reeves because they had a plan. And kind of positioning things where nobody, Rich Paul just say, Ron, you know, Ronnie's on this. I think or puts him in the screen in case something does happen. Even though he can make those things feel that way, we all know how the game of politics is being played. So I don't really hold Rich Paul to slight or disappointment. So we knew what the situation was going on, positioning the best pieces to get it to cement itself with the 55th pick.
Well, a couple of things. Let's say a couple of things. The same way Kendrick Perkins started off with James, and it's heartfelt. I'm one of the rare people in this country that has never seen Bronny James play. I've never seen him play, ever.
Like a game on TV, nothing.
I never wanted to watch him, and the reason I never wanted to watch him until he got to, you know, if he was at US, you know, in USC, that would have been different. I was just busy last season, but the bottom line is, I always felt that he was put in a really, really unfair position. And the scrutiny that would come down upon him was inevitable. And if I saw him, everybody would be like, yo, what you gonna say? And I didn't want to touch that. And then when he had the cardiac arrest, I mean, to know we're all scared to death, all of us. You, me, everybody. I mean, you scared to death because this kid has such a wonderful life ahead of him. LeBron James, the father, Savannah James, the mother, wonderful, wonderful parents. He did a great job raising him. You wish him nothing but the best. You're very, very happy for them. Now let's get to the other stuff. What you brought up, what KP brought up, the sound that we played to Rob Pelinka, who personally speaking, I like. That's one of the most officers we've ever seen. I picked up the phone and called Frank Valentini. You don't know that name. Let me tell you who that name is. As the executive producer, General Hospital. I said, you need a writer? You know, producer? You need somebody? Because I said, go watch the press conference of Rob Pelinka yesterday. And I said, I got some talent for you on the production side, on the right side. Use that man right there. But as a basketball VP, this is one of the most pathetic press conferences I've ever seen. Rob Pelinka, what's wrong with you, bro? I mean, we drafted Bronny, right? It's just, and now if LeBron James is, if that works out, and we'll have to wait and see. The man is in LA. The man has said for years all he wants to do is play with his son. The team that he's on right now just drafted him. Okay, you're the guy who drafted him. And somebody's gonna have to explain to me what all the high fives are about. When you know that you're picking somebody, and then everybody is, I mean, it's like I'm again like they're surprised. Let's high five one another and hug one another. What the hell is all of that? I say, yo, Frank, I mean, we're doing great in the ratings, General Hospital, but you got to see this. I mean, Rob Pelinka should be working for General Hospital. So that's number one. In a more serious note, and I'm just having fun with you, Rob. In a more serious level, let me tell Big Perk something about Rich Paul. Rich Paul is somebody. First of all, I love him. We all love Rich. We all love Rich. I mean, he get on our damn nerves sometimes and stuff like that. Because it's Rich Paul. You understand what I'm saying? That's what he tended to do. But we all got love for him. You must learn, Perk, how to ignore him. Now, I know that Rich Paul like to go on podcasts and be like, yeah, nobody told me to shut the hell up and all of this. Yeah, we do, because Rich Paul think he's a producer. I don't know if you know this. Rich Paul thinks that Rich Paul should be sitting where we sitting. Rich Paul.
All right, Shaq, here's the deal. Rich Paul was calling teams, telling them not to draft Bronny. So it's kind of interesting that that's the way things shaped out. And Bronny had a teammate that averaged 16 points a game, didn't even get drafted. That's even funnier than that. He had a guy that started ahead of him, didn't even get drafted. So this was some crazy shit that went on. But shows you how the NBA pulled off a heist.
Have you ever heard of an economy being taxed into prosperity?
Shaq, can you hear me? Dude. Let me take a nap or something.
Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we got Miss Keita Rose. Keita, if you recognize her, she's usually on that Tonight's Conversation podcast. She's a regular there, seems. And Keita be on something. Every once in a while, she say a little something that makes sense to me. Most of the time, I feel like a lot of her commentary is disingenuous. And so she just watch. Just watch.
Father God, it's me again. The men that you created to love us, the men that you created for us to be companions with, companionship, don't like us, Lord. Did you know that? Did you know that that was going to happen? I seen a podcast and this man said, my wife had 3, 4, 5 times she could have filed for divorce. She should have left me. I would have left me. But she didn't because she had a fight in her. Neo had both his sides on a boat. Talking about, yeah, I cheated on my wife and she has every reason to hate me and it's tearing me apart. Nigga, you don't care. You don't care at all. We are well past. Why do men cheat? Why do men lie? The same reason we go to Target knowing we don't need anything. It's fine. Just guys. But why must you humiliate her by telling everybody these are making songs? When a man sees that you'll stay, they don't look at it as, man, she's giving me a second chance, so I better tighten up and never hurt her again. It's more so like, damn, she's really strong, but let's check the hoe's endurance, okay? Buckle up. More and more women choose to be single, and it's like, do you really want to be alone? And it's like, well, I don't want to get on Instagram and see a Valentine's Day post. It's like, man, Marissa, you are dumb as hell. Dumb, but in love with me. Thank you. I mean, I cheat and I cheat and I cheat and I lie and I lie and I lie, and you sit there and you take it. Imagine if we did that. Imagine if for Father's Day we were like, Thomas, you are an amazing father. We both know that baby wasn't yours. I so many men giving them neck, throwing neck around town, but you stay strong and you raise all of them with your dumb ass. And that's why I choose you to cheat on. Happy Father's Day. These let's bow our heads. Father God.
So the premise of the video is basically she's sharing the sentiment that the gauge of being a good woman in the eyes of men, and she's trying to speak from her perception of how men are looking at it, that the gauge of whether or not a woman is good or whether or not it's a relationship depends upon how much of his crap she takes. So if she takes all of his mistreatment or what have you, and she endures through it until such time as he decides he wants to stop, then that is when he's going to recognize her and be like, man, I really love you because you took all of my crap. And so that makes you a good woman. She's also saying that this is a demonstration of the disdain that men actually have for women. And I've said this before, but I find it ironic that women of today will ridicule the women of yesteryear for staying in relationships that they don't think served those women. And the narrative is that the women of old only stayed in these abusive and or toxic relationships where the men cheated and did all these sorts of things to them only because they had to do it and they didn't have any other way to provide for themselves. So therefore, they couldn't have left the relationship even if they wanted to, which I find to be ridiculous on a lot of different levels, because a lot of those women of yesteryear were working and were making the strides, however you want to look at the outcome of those strides. They were making the strides and being educated and getting jobs because they were the pioneers for that, for the women of today to be able to do it. But I digress. I'm saying that to say a lot of the women of yesteryear were working and making their own money. They may not have been the breadwinners, but they were working because basically you had to. You had to work in order for the family to be supported. But I'm saying I'm bringing up the women of yesteryear because that's the critique that modern women have of those women. That they were putting up with all of these men's crap because they had to, essentially. So my question to the modern woman is, why do you put up with it? Why are you complaining about what the men do when the women supposedly made all of these strides to be able to get up and leave a situation whenever a man acted up in a relationship? If he's not doing what you think he should be doing in a relationship, this should even be a complaint because your foremothers work and make a decent amount of money. For you to be able to go and get educated and blah, 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 and pay your own bills and also depend on a man. So that if you are in a relationship and this man is not doing quote unquote what y'all want him to do, whatever that may be, you're so completely dependent upon him that you have to put up with tomfoolery in order to be taken care of. So why are y'all complaining? If y'all are able to do all of this stuff on your own, and so therefore you do not needing to rely on a man to do anything, so therefore when he act up, what you complaining about? Just take your stuff and go. He's cheating, he's lying, he's doing all this extra stuff that you claim you don't want him to do and you can't tolerate. So don't tolerate it. So don't tolerate it. Y'all are complaining about the very men that y'all be choosing to be with, become to their faces that they don't really want them and that they're not really taking them seriously. This is not really a relationship. This is not, I'm going to do what I want to do. So a lot of times, really the overwhelming majority of times, I'm witnessing men tell women what it really is and what they really think of them, actually being quite honest about it. And we'll go into a delusion about who these men are and what the nature of their so-called interaction and situationship and relationship is. And the men will have actually been honest and tell them, hey, you know, you're not going to be the only one. I'm not exclusive with you. I'm not even really in a relationship with you. We're going to kick it and da-da-da-da-da and whatever that entails. But please understand that I'm not going to not be with other women. I'm not going to be exclusive to you. That, you know what I'm saying? I'm not your man. And, you know, however they put it, they're putting it in terms that are really undeniable. And these women will go right past that. I'm not even going to call them red flags because it's just honesty. And they'll go.
Chak, you there?
Yep.
Yeah, man. We wonder where you been, man. What's up? We had, yeah, I played. Hey, what's up, Delson? We played that part of your boy. What's your boy name? Bronny. That's his name, Bronny. And then one of his teammates had 16 points a game, but they just acting like they don't know if LeBron gonna sign back and things like that. Then the women saying that, you know, basically this woman saying God, the men, you know, what's wrong with these men, you know, that's what Crimson Q are talking about. But she's saying the men actually be honest with the women. Yeah, you know, I mean, what do you think about that thing with that queer representation in hip hop thing they were talking about?
If they're talking about publicly, because it's always been in there. I mean, people already knew. The people in the industry already knew what, you know, what the vibe is. So I don't know what the, you know.
Meg Thee Stallion.
Is it the coming
Stallion
out
is
party?
bisexual now. Meg Thee Stallion came out and is bisexual. Yeah, it's coming out, man.
I mean, who cares though, bro? That's supposed to be a private thing, man.
Let me play something from one of your Texas representatives right quick. Always pay attention to your Texas representatives.
Hey everybody, big fundraising between
Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas. She's a member of both the House Agriculture and House Oversight and Accountability Committees. Congresswoman Crockett, thank you for being with us. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know, and I'm not a decision maker. I'm a voter. Like, I'm not sure what the right thing to do is about that debate.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. Hey, this woman look different every time I see her, man. I don't know what to say in person sometimes, man.
I am sure that a bad debate performance by an 80-year-old guy who's given a lot of time to this country, who's not convicted of anything, who generally is not thought of as a person who lies. I've not heard anybody say that about it, who is a compassionate, empathetic being in the face of an opposition of Donald Trump is a no-brainer. So everybody needs to slow their roll for a minute while we think about what the next steps are.
Hold on, he said, who he talking about?
You know, it is so wild to me, and it's been quite annoying.
Oh, he talking about Biden.
Who you talking about?
Let me say something about the media too, man. He talking about Biden, but check this out. Let me tell you something. The media said that Biden was slow the other night because he had a cold, and he had been battling a cold, and that's why he was a little bit stuck on his
Man,
voice.
they are liars,
I
man.
said,
They keep talking about Trump being
man.
lying. These people is lying for the dude, man. The dude lied, man. Tell me he compassionate. How was he compassionate for the American people when he was trying to force jabs on the people, man? How is that compassion? And all the people that perished from them taking them damn jabs, some experimental medication? So that's all it is. Is he gonna take ownership for being the spearhead, the figurehead for modern day genocide? That's what I'm calling it. Chemical annihilation. Why ain't nobody brought that up?
Yeah.
Be honest, that Democrats get into a frenzy. I mean, it's almost like we're scared of our shadows sometimes, right? And I think it's because we understand the stakes, and everybody's saying we've got to have the best of the best. And let me tell you something, there is no better heart, there is no better man. And honestly, when it comes down to being an orator, that's never been who Joe Biden has been.
Talking? That sounds like your old girl.
I think that Obama kind of maybe hurt us in a little bit. And knows I love him.
That's who?
But we got used to this amazing orator. And then you've got Trump. He's not an amazing orator whatsoever, but he knows how to just keep talking. And he'll say anything. You know, one of the things that was so frustrating for me when I saw this debate in Atlanta was this fool tried to take credit for insulin prices. And I was like, that was the perfect opportunity to be
Look at how she talks. She said it's food. So why she talk like that, bro? Like, you don't have to do that. Like, just have a conversation, man.
I would have
you don't have to do all that extra stuff. We see who you are. We know where you come from.
This guy is crazy. He's evil. And then when I listened to the segment before, and you're talking
they never bring up Joe Biden's past about the crime bill, and they bring up about
because they do want to
his
install
master
loyalists.
teachers
They don't
were
want those
the
government
grand
workers
wizard of Ku
like
Klux
my
Klan.
mama,
Why
who
do you call him
has
Trump
always
white
worked for the
supremacist?
federal government so long as
This
I
nigga
can
mentors
remember.
was the
People that have
grand wizard.
institutional knowledge to
Damn.
make sure that they can carry our country forward, and they work under
How
whichever
niggas got so much compassion for this dude
Democratic or Republican. They
He
don't
been in
swear their
politics
loyalty
50-some
to
years.
an orange Jesus. Instead, they swear
Wait
their
a minute. She just said they got loyalty to an orange Jesus. You heard that shit, man? Hey, yo. Hey.
She said, hold on. Say it again. They got loyalty to
He
who?
said an orange Jesus. Hey, yo.
See, that make. Hey, look here. And what's sad is these people never even talked about Joe Biden. Everybody so-called black was on Joe Biden's head before he became the president. Also now he's so coddled and so lovely now. Even the black Democrats weren't going for Joe Biden.
Check, man.
You know it. It's all about money. It's all about the money they make, man. So people will sell themselves out.
That's right.
But they get what they deserve, though.
Check this out.
You know what I'm saying? They get exactly what they deserve. So you can't say nobody forced you and twist your arm. I don't want to hear her talk anymore, man. I'm tired of hearing her talk, bro. I don't want to hear nothing come out of her mouth
people
no
of
more.
this country and our
You heard enough of her.
Constitution, and that is the problem.
Hey, man. You might. Hey, look.
They don't need to mention no more about no damn Constitution ever.
Hey, This woman, let me say this. This woman is somewhere in that South Dallas area. You might need to find out what district she is. This woman need to go.
Well, that's what she need to be at. When she need to focus on South Dallas instead of catering for Joe Biden, bro. That's what she need to focus on then.
Yeah.
Because we already know you playing this game, the general election. Yes, it gets you to participate and vote, but we already know in the general election, the popular vote does not necessarily 100% don't. Doesn't matter. We already know the collective. What is it called? Electoral College has the ultimate final say on who they're going to elect or select as the president, the nominee candidate of the United States of America, bro. I mean, that game is over with.
Yep.
The general election just get the people involved, but they don't go off the popular. They go off what does the Electoral College? How do they vote? What the decisions are
If
they
you're a web
voting?
designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
It's a sham.
Look, listen to this. Listen to this.
We're coming on the air with breaking news that could impact hundreds of people charged in connection with the January 6th attack on the Capitol and potentially former President Trump. The Supreme Court just ruled in favor of one of the rioters on January 6th over a charge of obstruction of an official proceeding. This decision is set to have a sweeping impact on hundreds of prosecutions, but this could especially impact Donald Trump after he cited the case in his bid to obtain presidential immunity in the election interference case against him. Laura Jarrett is by my side here. You've been through some of these pages. Dig a little deeper for us.
Okay, so here we go. So we have here a defendant in one of the January 6 cases who has been charged with a federal obstruction related statute. He wanted the narrowest possible interpretation of that statute so that his conduct wouldn't be covered. Prosecutors have tried to stretch the statute as much as possible so that it would sweep in Mr. Fisher, as well as many other defendants. And today, the High Court, in a divided opinion, has sided with Mr. Fisher, narrowing the statute. It does not mean all of the January 6 cases are going to be tossed out, but it does put the issue back in the lower court's hands to determine whether his conduct now meets this new rule. So we're going to continue to sift through this and understand in exactly the scope of what is and isn't going to be covered. But we should mention Justice Jackson joining some of the conservative colleagues in this, and it was something that had come at oral argument. What was the intent of this statute that was passed after the Enron scandal? And the idea was that they were trying to sweep in more conduct, but it was really about document destruction. And when you think about what happened on January 6th, people storming the Capitol, everyone remembers those images and the violence. But nobody really associates it primarily with document destruction in the same way as you associate something like a white-collar crime like Enron. And so that's sort of where the debate had been here. And the Chief Justice explaining here that the statute is only going to apply to acts that affect the integrity or availability of evidence. So does the Fisher's conduct on that day affect that? We're going to have to wait and see. So it's going to continue to play out. But again, as you mentioned, Lesser, the former president was also charged with this federal obstruction statute. His application is very different. He was not accused of storming the Capitol like Mr. Fisher and so many others. But of course, given how they have narrowed this federal obstruction statute, of course, he will try to use it to further delay the proceedings in his own case.
Thanks for watching.
So this case that happened up there in the Supreme Court, people ain't talking about it because that means that not all the people we charged with obstruction of justice. So are they gonna call this a constitutional protest? I don't know. Just going to show you this thing ain't what you thought it was, man. Pay attention. Let me play this one last video for you, man. We talk about some health stuff right quick. Okay. There we go.
Aside from pushing people to eat bugs and insects as a viable alternative source of protein, well, there's actually a second simultaneous push to get people to eat lab-grown meat. The thinking goes that since the world is ending due to climate change, and since, of course, the agricultural sector contributes to climate change, we can do away with farms and ranches, and we can replace that meat with cultivated meat grown in a laboratory. And unbeknownst to most people, cultivated meat has already gotten the stamp of approval from the US government. That's because Upside Foods and Good Meat, two companies that make what they call cultivated chicken, said they have gotten approval from the US Department of Agriculture to start producing their cell-based proteins. Cultivated or lab-grown meat is grown in a giant vat, much like what you'd find at a beer brewery. This move follows a series of previous approvals which have paved the way for sales of cultivated meat in the US. Last week, Good Meat and Upside said they had received approval for received a so-called no questions letter from the Food and Drug Administration. That letter states that the administration is satisfied that the product is safe to sell in the United States. The FDA issued a similar letter to Upside Foods in November. And so as you can see, the USDA, as well as the FDA, which are the two agencies overseeing this industry, they have already given their stamp of approval for lab-grown chicken to be sold nationally, which, just as an aside, is something that not even Europe has done. Normally on these types of things, Europe is
we need to have a talk.
1 or sometimes even 5 years ahead of the US. But in the case of synthetic meat, the EU has not given any lab-grown green light. And it actually doesn't even look like it's on the horizon, because doing so in the context of Europe would require a full review by the European.
All right, go ahead.
We need to know what are the steps, the regulations to qualify said products to be sold and manufactured and sold in the confines of the United States. I want to look that up and see what is the process, and who are the members on this board that's certifying and okaying the selling of any products through the FDA. I didn't know what their regulations is. What is it? You know what I mean? Because why we don't vote on this shit? Why if we are the people and it's voting time, why that ain't on the ballot for us to vote for lab grown meat, for them to do that, for the FDA to approve that? Why we don't have a say so in that? We are the people, right?
Say so. What you talking about?
And people don't even, people don't even question this stuff, man. People don't even question this shit, man. They just let it go ahead and did. Well, I need to get with Dawson because I want to write a letter. I want to start writing some letters, dog, to some of these 3-letter places, man. And then we need to get some signals because we are the people. And y'all, if y'all don't care about our health, bro, then we need y'all need to be defunded. Y'all need to be disbanded because, you know what I mean? And that's another thing. I don't know why they don't ever bring that up in talking points with, like, when they come to these presidents and these politicians. Dude, what are y'all saying about the environment, bro? Like, these companies, corporations, NGOs and stuff selling all type of products, even from the products we put on our body, like clothing material, chemicals and stuff that we put on our body for us, like makeup, deodorants. What are the regulations at, man? Y'all keep saying the FDA, man, and y'all regulating stuff, but come on, man, what's good? When do we get to have the conversation? What about us, man?
They're not trying to have a conversation.
What about us?
Well,
Dang.
let me say something.
That's all I'm saying.
I forgot to mention yesterday. Yesterday I was talking to a gentleman. You know, Donald Trump was here in Chesapeake, Virginia, about an hour from me yesterday. And a guy, he was talking about, man, I didn't know he was here. He was like, you know, Youngkin went to, I guess, go to the rally or whatever. He was talking about Youngkin, you know, came to one of the basketball camps around here, something like that. And Youngkin be doing a lot in the city of Richmond. But he said that if he knew that Youngkin was going to meet Donald Trump, he would have had it. He said he's going to send him an email and ask him, And I asked Youngkin what was he doing there. I said, man, don't waste your time doing no dumb shit like that, man. Just leave that shit alone, man. I said, Dagger, you, what the hell you care? Was you at the rally? No. Why you care? So if you're gonna worry about some dumb shit like that, right? I mean, don't you think you should worry about this lab grown meat? Thank you very much. You need to email these people. Fuck that other bullshit.
Food Safety Authority. And that full review can take upwards of 2 years to actually finish. And as of right now, there does not seem to be any proposals on the table that were sent to that commission to get the ball rolling. Although, while we're on the topic of Europe in general, I will mention that on the flip side, you do have individual European nations banning synthetic meat. For instance, in November of last year, basically at the tail end of last year, Italy became the first EU country to ban the sale or the import of cultivated meat. You also have about a dozen other European countries looking to follow suit. Regardless, though, circling back here to the States, after the USDA made their decision, America became the third country in the world to allow for the sale of synthetic meat, right behind Singapore as well as Israel. However, since the US is essentially an amalgamation of 50 different states, what you're starting to see is individual states pushing back. And along that line, just 5 days ago, Florida enacted a new piece of legislation which bans and even criminalizes the manufacture and sale of lab-grown meat within the border of their states. While signing the bill into law, here's what Governor Ron DeSantis said about it. Quote, Florida is fighting back against the global elite's plan to force the world to eat meat grown in a petri dish or bugs to achieve their authoritarian goals. We will save our beef. There was also a press release made public that cited the bill as being essentially pushback against the World Economic Forum's goal of forcing the world to eat lab-grown meat as well as insects in general. Likewise, you had the Florida Commission.
And also, you know that fluoride was ruled a neurotoxin last week, but nobody talks about it.
But see, that's the stuff I be talking about, man. Like, these people who allow this stuff to get passed and get regular and get pushed through. Then later you find out, oh well, it's a toxin. This is good. Well, you didn't check the chemicals. They didn't have to submit a form of all the chemicals that this particular product is made up of. And y'all didn't test these chemicals in the lab. That's what I'm saying. What's the process, dog? What is the process?
Well, ain't no process. You got bureaucrats telling you what it is, and if you don't like it, then that's what it is. Matter of fact, Dr. Felicia Lockhart just sent me something. If you sell lab-grown meat in Alabama, you could go to jail. So
I'm down with that. The people need to start. We need to start speaking up, man, and saying more to our. And it really is our local and state government, politics. No, we need to speak up. Look here, y'all supposed to represent us. Y'all get paid as administrator to represent us. So we need to start getting these people names and having a conversation. Like, look here, we need to be in on these meetings, and we need to speak. Like, no, that's not in the best interest of me and my family. No.
You're right.
I mean, plain and simple, man. Because your state congressman and representative, those are the ones in the House representing your state. They are way more important than the president is on a macro or a micro level. Because they are ones that's ultimately writing up a lot of legislation, and they send it to chain of command. Whatever that chain of command is, it goes through your state representatives, House representatives, senators, congressmen, you know, on the state level. I think we're a little bit behind the 8 ball of getting manipulated, mass manipulated with this when it comes to voting and
We're not
election.
behind the 8 ball, brother. We're not behind the 8 ball. Everybody, the summer back is hot. People ready to party like it's 1999. So they ain't really worried about it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So I don't get into that politics. I ain't into politics. No, the proper answer should be is you're not a politician, but you're very well much in the mix of politics, bro. And political. You are the political pawn.
Yep. Well, as a matter of fact, next time I come on, write this down in my little notepad. I've been keeping notes. I mean, even somebody like me, I can forget shit because I keep a lot of stuff.
Man, we all do. I got so many notes in my phone, man, like in the notebook in my phone, man. But you was about to mention something about health, man. You know, this is last weekend winding down on Men's Health Month. So give us some awareness, some updates, some things we can look forward to going.
Well, I mean, really, to tell you the truth, I ain't really got that many updates to give you because those updates I give you about the fluoride and neurotoxin. I was just showing you what to avoid and maybe what you should be eating now. Because now that you know this meat is lab grown, I would tell you to stay out of McDonald's because it's kind of weird, man, because you talk about men's mental health. But men's mental health, the mental is also in the physical. Because what you eat go up to your brain, and that can also cause you to have problems with your mental health, with the food you eat. Right? That can, like even in they're saying fluoride can lower children's IQ, right? So if you look about it, all this stuff is interconnected. If you eat bad food, you're gonna have bad outcomes, physical and mental. It could stunt your intellectual development. It could cause you to be depressed. It could cause you to look at man. You eat a lot of sugar, right? Or you take in the intake of sugar you have, it could cause you to go to a hyperdelirium, and then you don't get enough, you could be feeling depressed. So I mean, that's all into men's mental health. Actually, it goes to women's mental health too, because really, to tell you the truth, it's kind of yin and yang, both of them. I mean, right now, men's mental health is more so. I hate to say it, man. I ain't trying to be funny, man, but sometimes men mental health being drugged by some of these nutcakes they've been around on there. No disrespect to the women, but you know, sometimes y'all women be that negative, man, when he come home and the man that worked all day about some crazy stuff. Or you know, got one, telling me, that they, they don't bother me because I laugh at it. I say I don't buy Birkin bags, so they don't bother me. But
you don't buy Birkin bags?
Hell no. Hey, look, man. Playtime is over. Look here, man. A Birkin bag when I save you in a crisis. You know, I was at the movies earlier today, and I watched. My nephew was up there, and I went in there and I watched Planet of the Apes or something like that, right? And it was interesting. But what I'm saying is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, actually. But what I'm saying is these movies got so much symbolism in them. I'm like, yo. And they was able in the lead ape. Now this is where the symmetry come out. One of the apes was named Caesar. Well, remember this, Chak. Caesar said, You give them bread and circuses. They won't give a damn what we do.
You know what's funny about that Caesar thing? And I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard somebody mention it that Caesar, the reason why that dude had problems. The you know what I'm saying? That allegedly he had seizures. That was another reason the nickname, because he had a lot of seizures.
Hey, look, well, Caesar was what? Trying to be what? The emperor for life. Seemed like they want a one-party government, one world order. Same thing.
Oh yeah, to go back with the Caesar thing and the emperor thing. If you know most kings or emperors or people of high stature like that, they're trying to read it's a lot to go along with that. If you notice them, they have a lot of health ailments. I think that's why we had that conversation. They were saying Caesar, he was having a lot of seizures because of that. That type of position, it takes so many years off your life. Hold on for a minute.
Well, here what it is. I mean, hey, it takes stuff over the life, hey. If you can't handle the heat, get the hell out of the goddamn kitchen. But, oh shit. Why is she sitting there? Okay. Is she sitting? Okay. Okay. All right, Miss Lockhart said it were 12 seasons. Okay. I got the message. All right. All right. I might have to write this down too. All right. Let me write this down. All right. Also passed. Yep, the FDA did pass that. That you don't have to tell the truth on the ingredients. Right. All right. All right. Chak, you still there? I know you say hold up for a minute. So give him a second. But I can get out here. All right. I don't know what's over here. But well, look, I'm gonna just shout my information. Y'all,
My bag. I'm back.
Well, yeah, Chak, you back. Wait. Now you good. I was just telling you that shout out your information.
Oh yeah,
Can't hear you like. Come back a little bit. All right, let me bring this up. Ms. Lockhart said it with Trail Caesars, Julius Caesar, Augusta, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, Nero, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Nero was the end of the Julio-Claudine dynasty. the Vesper Titus and Demented were actually a separate dynasty called the Flavians. Flavians. So she was just texting me that. But so obviously she's been watching and listening. But it's good.
That's good information. So, tell me, Lockhart. Jimmy Lockhart said was good.
Now earlier tonight. Yeah, are you talking about the thing with Judge and the ladies? Yeah, that was good. That was a good podcast. Yes, definitely with the ladies of the trustees.
Yeah, that was a good presentation.
There was a problem going on with the YouTube, so obviously they were blocking me. Yeah, she said, "Love y'all." Let's put it this way. Earlier tonight, Doc Balls, thanks for letting me know. He said he just happened to know the time I was on, but YouTube was saying I wasn't on. So censorship at its finest, right? But it is what it is. Crazy, right? Yeah. So that made me know they shadow banning the hell out of me, and that also let me know I got more than probably 7 people watching. So that means that they bullshitting around. But it's okay with me. Censor on, goddammit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play that video sensitive next time I come on, Doc Boss. Thanks for letting me know that they that I wasn't on. Or they was saying I wasn't on, but I was. So it's all good. Yes, Doc Boss, thanks for yes, it was a very good show. I got some things to say about it. Ms. Lockhart, I'm gonna give you a call on that one day about that show. There was some things I couldn't believe in there, including the 2 guests. But you know, it is what it is. They learned a lot too. Hopefully, with the information you and Judge Joe Brown gave them. So that being said, Shaq, I'm out. I give you a holler.
All right, peace to everybody in the chat, man. Thank y'all for showing up. Share, like, and subscribe. Share on your platform.
That's it. All right, take your time.